I never thought I would follow my husband. Not me. I was the kind of woman who believed in trust. The kind who thought love meant security, honesty, and knowing the person you married better than anyone else in the world. But somewhere along the way, something changed. And I felt it. At first, it was subtle. Daniel started coming home late more often. Not once or twice, but almost every night. He always had an explanation ready. Work's been crazy. Big client. Deadlines. I believed him. Because why wouldn't I? He had never given me a reason not to. But then, the little things started adding up. He stopped leaving his phone around. He started taking calls outside. And the way he looked at me. It wasn't the same. It wasn't cold. It wasn't distant. It was worse. It was like he was hiding something. Something heavy. Something he didn't want me to see. One night, I tried to talk to him. "Are you okay?" I asked. He smiled. Too quickly. "Yeah. Just tired." But I knew. I knew that wasn't the truth. Because when I looked into his eyes, I didn't see exhaustion. I saw guilt. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, listening to his breathing beside me, wondering how someone could feel so close, and so far away at the same time. And that's when the thought came. The one I had been avoiding. What if he's lying to me? I tried to ignore it. For days, I forced myself to act normal. To pretend everything was fine. But the feeling wouldn't go away. It grew stronger. Louder. Until it became impossible to ignore. And then, one night, everything changed. Daniel told me he had to work late again. "Don't wait up," he said, grabbing his keys. I nodded. Smiled. Watched him leave. And for a moment, I almost let it go. But something inside me snapped. I grabbed my coat, my keys, and followed him. My heart was pounding so hard it felt like it might break through my chest. I kept my distance, staying a few cars behind him. Every turn he made, I followed. Every stoplight, every lane change, I stayed just far enough to not be noticed. And then, he didn't go to work. He drove past his office. My stomach dropped. A cold wave of fear washed over me. I kept following him as he turned into a quiet neighborhood I had never seen before. Finally, he stopped. Parked in front of a small house. I pulled over a few houses away, my hands shaking as I turned off the engine. I watched him step out of the car. Walk up to the door. Knock. My breath caught in my throat. The door opened. A woman stood there. She looked simple. Normal. Not what I expected. But the way she looked at him. It wasn't casual. It was familiar. Warm. Like she knew him. Like she had known him for a long time. My chest tightened. And then, a little girl ran out from behind her. She couldn't have been older than 5. She ran straight toward him. And jumped into his arms. "Dad." The word hit me like a gunshot. Everything inside me froze. I watched as he lifted her up, holding her close, smiling in a way I hadn't seen in months. She laughed. Wrapped her arms around his neck. And he held her like she was everything. Like she mattered. Like she belonged to him. And maybe she did. I felt like I couldn't breathe. Like the world had just tilted off its axis. This wasn't just cheating. This was something else. Something worse. Something deeper. A whole life that I knew nothing about. I don't remember how long I sat there. Watching. Breaking. Piece by piece. Eventually, they went inside. The door closed. And I was left alone in the dark. Underscore 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 underscore. I didn't sleep that night. Or the next. The image of that little girl, calling him Dad, played over and over in my mind. It didn't make sense. It couldn't. Unless everything I thought I knew about my husband was a lie. 3 days later, I confronted him. He walked in like nothing had happened. Like everything was normal. And I realized I couldn't pretend anymore. Where were you? I asked. At work, he said. The lie came too easily. I followed you. Silence. His face went pale. What? I saw you, I said. The house. The woman. He didn't speak. Didn't deny it. And the little girl, I whispered. The one who called you Dad. He closed his eyes. And in that moment, I knew. Everything was real. She's not mine, he said suddenly. I blinked. What? She's not my daughter. The words didn't make sense. But she called you. I know, he interrupted. I know what it looks like. Then explain it, I demanded. He ran a hand through his hair, pacing. I didn't tell you because I didn't know how. Tell me what, Daniel? He stopped. Looked at me. And for the first time, I saw it. The truth. Not guilt. Not betrayal. But something else. Pain. The woman, he said slowly, her name is Sarah. I waited. She's my sister. The room went completely silent. What? She was adopted when we were kids, he continued. We got separated. I didn't even know where she was for years. My mind struggled to catch up. What does that have to do with? She found me, he said. A few months ago. My heart pounded. And the little girl? He swallowed. She's her daughter. I stared at him, trying to process it. But, why did she call you Dad? His voice broke. Because her real father left. The words hit differently this time. Softer. Heavier. And Sarah, he continued, she's sick. My breath caught. How sick? Terminal, he said quietly. Everything inside me shifted. She didn't want her daughter to grow up alone, he said. So I stepped in. And you didn't tell me? I whispered. I was afraid, he admitted. Afraid of how you'd react. Afraid of losing you. Tears filled my eyes. So you lied instead? I didn't mean to hurt you, he said. But you did. Silence filled the room. But this time, it felt different. Not sharp. Not explosive. Just heavy. Because now, it wasn't betrayal. It was something else. Something complicated. Something real. Days later, I went to see them. I needed to know. Needed to understand. When the door opened, Sarah stood there. She looked pale. Weak. But her eyes were kind. You must be her, she said softly. I nodded. Not trusting my voice. Inside, the little girl ran up to Daniel. Dad, she said again. And this time, it didn't feel like a knife. It felt like something else. Something I didn't expect. Understanding. Because she didn't know. She didn't know any of this. All she knew was that someone loved her enough to stay. Weeks passed. And slowly, everything changed. I started visiting more often. At first, it was awkward. Painful. Confusing. But then, something shifted. The little girl started talking to me. Laughing with me. Holding my hand. And one day, she looked up at me and said, "Are you staying too?" My heart broke. And healed at the same time. Because in that moment, I realized something. This wasn't the ending I feared. It was a beginning I never expected. A messy one. A painful one. But maybe, a meaningful one. And sometimes, the truth that shatters you is the same truth that changes you forever.